we break up. So I waste money and waste time, right?
Well, like we just hired somebody.
Okay, so is that my opinion?
That's it. That's we're sharing and we're discussing. You know, I totally understand. Yeah, we're on Clubhouse right now talking about relationships, and it's interesting. You know, it's like bits and pieces of my story to Andrea here over the weeks. You know, and like for you, you know, the first thing I'll say is we just hired a lady who's from Nigeria, and her citizenship is from Guinea. Guinea de Contraire, I believe, but I'm not sure. And she's Muslim as well, right? She's married and she has a couple kids. And, you know, I understand a little bit. I don't know everything, right? Like in my understanding, it's basically where in Muslim culture, you have to be connected to their family somehow. And then somebody sets up an introduction, right? And then that's a chaperoned meeting, usually some kind of family event or whatnot. And then that's when your courtship begins, right? And courtship is basically where, you know, you're trying to say, hey, girl, to a lady, and or a man, you know, whatever, right? We live in 2021 right now, so I try to always be pretty open. I myself am married, and yeah, so like from the Muslim path there, you begin your courtship, right? And then after your courtship, that's where if it works or it doesn't, that's where you spent a lot of money, right? Dating and trying to impress somebody into being cool to marry you, right? And then now in 2021, if that Muslim lady, the wonderful lady, is not accepting of you, then she has every right to just say, no, I'm not going to go with this anymore. And then your family's disappointed, you're disappointed. She's okay. Her family is like, when is she going to get married? And is that right? Pretty much. Is that a good summary, eh?
Yeah, you are perfect.
Okay, thank you. All right. That's
just like a Muslim guy.
Well,
like a Muslim guy.
I try to use, I guess, like my creativity and logic to figure out what the story is like for somebody, you know, and like that helps understand what it's like to live in somebody else's shoes, which is important for communication. It really is, because like if you understand the person a little bit, then communicating with them is always going to be easier. Especially when whatever they say is
amazing. You know, you explain it in very simple words. That is very great.
Right on. I'm glad. You know, these weeks have been sharing. Yeah, it's so cool to meet you, man. Like, I love the concept that's called diversity of thought. Okay, and diversity of thought is necessary for success in any system, any team, any group, any organization, any company, any business. When you get everybody thinking the same, go ahead.
No, I just want to say diversity is very important in everything, even in food.
Yeah, jump in anytime, dude.
Just focus in one type and just every day eat it. Diversity is very important in our life.
Yeah, that's real cool. I like to tell my students, try to eat every color, you know, try to eat every color. And like you sound like you eat a lot of different colors, which is cool. Yeah. So as a Muslim man there, that's where you have to deal with that stuff. And then I don't know, if I were a Muslim man, using some conditional grammar, if I were a Muslim man, what would I do? I would try to make myself look really awesome and nice to all the Muslims around me, right? And then my reputation would sell it for me, I guess, right? And then, yes, that's great. You know, also there's another benefit to become Muslim, you know, in our culture, or as a Muslim general, you can have 4 wives. Wow. 4 wives. That's right. You guys still have polygamy. Oh, that's crazy. Okay. All right. If you can support them, you can have 4 wives. Andrea, what do you think about that?
Could you repeat that again?
So in Muslim culture still in 2021, if you can support them, you can have multiple wives.
Oh. You know, for me personally, I am not sure about this topic because I don't believe in, how do I say, polygamy things?
Polygamy,
yeah.
Multiple love.
The multiple ones. What do you think about this, actually?
Okay, well, let's go with the vocabulary, right? We'll start with the vocabulary. Monogamy. Monogamy is where you commit yourself to one person, right? And then polygamy is that you commit and love more than one person, right? And I would say 100 years ago, monogamy was a pretty accepted concept. But Muslims have been practicing polygamy for thousands of years now, right? It's a pretty common thing. And then also too, back in Hebrew times, polygamy was practiced very regularly as well. You could have a bunch of wives. So I would say it's pretty demeaning now, right? Where like monogamy is a little bit better, I suppose, because you would need to be with one other person, right? But then if you look at America and all the different types of relationships they have now in the UK and Korea and many places, is that there are at least 18 different terms for types of relationships now, right? So what is my personal take on it? I think it's kind of demeaning to women now. I also think that as a dude, I would probably be okay with it, and I could probably manage it well and respect everyone. I think that there are a lot of different perspectives on it, and it's not my place to say that it's good or bad and just share my opinion. But be careful with that as well, you know.
Yep, I guess I agree. But do you think that would it play the same rules and just switched to like
Good question.
role?
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Like, I mean, what if the ladies are having like several husbands?
Let's let A answer this one, right? Like so A,
Yeah.
What Andrea and Lady Chana is asking, right? She's asking, what if the roles were reversed, right? That's the correct question, Andrea. It's like, what if the roles were reversed?
I get the question, but I don't have answer for that. For example, I will give you an example, okay? You said, for example, no, wife has 3 husbands, okay? Okay. The wife become pregnant, and the child come out.
Oh. It would be everybody's kid, and he'd have 3 dads.
Belong to which husband?
The wrong word would be belong, right? Like like I'm only, this is not from a personal sense. I'm talking from like political correctness, right? My personal views on it would be like, you know, my 2 sons are my 2 sons, you know? But then like on the other side is that if you're born to someone, does that mean that you belong to them? Yeah, that would be one question to answer if we're going philosophy, you know, and ethics and morals. But the other question, I guess, would be, I can tell you what my heart says, Andrea, right? My heart says, go for it. If there's a lady out there that can support 3 husbands, right, and then she can have a kid and all like with 1 guy and 2 other guys would be okay with it, or all 3 guys make love to her separately or together. Right, and then that would be the kids and life, and I could totally see it happening in the future. I don't think it's impossible.
You know,
I guess I understand that.
Some of my friends told me that, you know, the woman can accept only 1 man, but for men they can accept a lot of women.
Andrea, you
it's quite on the controversial side for me. Just
no, yeah, let's go for it. There's only 4 people here.
Yeah, and for me personally, I think like Paul, you said it's okay. I think it's also okay, but then on the deep down, like on your mental levels, I don't think most of ladies would agree on this point, because you don't like the feelings of being replaced by someone, like you know, and God to stay with the loved ones in the beginning, and now your husbands are having another love of their life, another one instead of you, I think would probably feel a little bit devastated.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I guess it depends and varies from person to person, of course.
Yeah. I don't know. Hey, what do you think? And then I got something to say.
I am not agree with her.
You don't agree? Yeah. Don't agree. That's okay. Yeah. Like, okay.
It is not big issue, but just not agree.
Say again.
Yes, I said it is not big issue. Just not agree.
Yeah. In English, we like to say agree to disagree, right? Agree to disagree. Yeah. Okay. If we go controversial with this, here's where I'd go. All right. It's where Nowadays, there are many different distinctions. So that's LGBTQ something something. Yes, right. And that's where there are so many different ways that people bond with another now, right? I learned that somebody can love another person, and it doesn't matter what gender they are, but if they're emotionally connected to them, then they're that way, right? And that's a sexual orientation, right? So yeah, it's a trip. I mean, what I would say there is in the end, you have polygamy in the past, you have people having multiple relationships, and then you have the question, are humans more similar to animals or different to animals? Right. So what would you guys say? Right? Would you say that humans are more similar to animals or more different?
Okay. First of all, I disagree with you that the gender is not important. The gender is very important because, for example, the man for woman and woman for man. You know, if you say the opposite, for example, man for man or woman for woman, you now become against the nature, right?
Against nature. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion.
Of course.
After that, we can continue.
No.
Let's say
Like I can agree. Like for me, I can look at both sides of it all. You know, like if you talk to one of the renowned anthropologists and psychologists in the world, his name is Jordan Peterson, he'll say that there are distinctly and only two sexes, right? And then if you go to like Navajo history records of Indians, they actually had four genders, right? So it was a female-bodied man, a male-bodied man, a male-bodied female, and a female-bodied female, right? And so like in their culture, there were four, right? And so I don't know, like I feel you. I totally understand. And if I'm like talking for audience, then I would be one way and thinking about all these other concepts at the same time for sure, right? Right now, we were joking about what it would be like for a man to have many wives and then a woman to have many wives, right? Or a woman to have many husbands. But then now what we're talking about is one person can have many people or one, and then vice versa, right? And so it's just getting so complicated, right? Oh my God, it's so crazy. Oh, we got Wit in the room here. Wit is one of my students from KUMUT-NB, right? He's an engineering student over there, and he's always trying to practice his English. Wit, you know, you can always raise your hand, and then I'll help you in communicating and stuff about stuff. Right now, we're talking about love, men, women, and other, right? Yeah, interesting. Do you want to jump in and talk with us?
Welcome, Wit.
No, okay, all right, okay. He's probably just observing for a little bit, and he's used to my speed a bit, right? And he's a Thai student here. He's raising his hand. Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. Why to speak?
You got it. I'm waiting for mine to update. Okay, invite to speak. All right, clear.
You know that the updated version of Clubhouse is like the older like participants who joined us from last time can actually come directly up to the room of speaking without inviting. Maybe like the second, like if there's only two persons in the room, the person who joined from last time could directly come up and speak without asking. But then the moderator can move the person down.
That's going to be convenient. All right, so after the update, and then it's starting now, and then we got 6 here, Ahmad here. Okay, Ahmad, remember, I'll just go ahead and reset the room for you guys here. Welcome to the Bubble Language School Clubhouse room. We are here to practice English with the tag name, Let's Talk Ielts. We were actually talking about life, love, and many other things, actually, you know, and it's so cool to get diversity of thought going, right? We got Wit here as an engineering student who's going to design airplanes someday. We got Lady Chana, who's going to be on that airplane, maybe working, right? And then also looking at what the world's got to offer her. We have Ploy, who's her family member, who graciously comes here and helps us hang out and supports the numbers, right? And then we have A here, who all I really know about you is that you're a Muslim, you're single, and you're looking for love. Right?
And also civil engineer.
And you're also a civil engineer. Wow, we need you over here, bro. All right. And then Ahmed, You can raise your hand if you'd like to practice your English. We are at the intermediate to advanced level, but if you're basic, it's all good. I've been a teacher for almost 2 decades now, and I'm here to help, right? So 20 years of teaching experience to help people kind of say what they need to say in English, regardless of their level.
Bro.
Bro. Oh, thank you. Okay, right. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and go into our topics here today. Hey, I'm curious about civil engineering here. What would you say is let's say that I'm a civil engineering student in my first year, and you're a civil engineering professor, right? And I'm asking you a question, and I'm saying, what is civil engineering, and how would you answer that?
I cannot imagine myself as a professor. Sorry for that.
No, don't apologize. One thing I like to say is going to be no limitations, right? So like.
Okay, we give you a lot of advice. Just follow your teacher. Don't just depend on the notes or something like that. You have to search for reference.
Good.
Don't waste your time. You have to attend the lecture. If you don't understand anything, you have to ask me.
It's so practical, eh? Right? You are definitely a civil engineer. I love the practicality of it all, you know? Awesome. What have you worked on before?
As a general civil engineering, as a big title, underneath a lot of specialty. You will find road and railway engineering, you will find waste and environmental, you will find construction engineering, you will find structure engineering, a lot of. After that, you have to think a lot before you decide which major or specialty you have to take. For me, my specialty is road and railway engineering.
Let's say that again, roadway or railway?
Road and railway engineering.
Oh my God. Yeah, we definitely need you in Thailand. One thing I have to say as a teacher real quick, is that what you achieved right now is something that I like to call flow. And flow is this magical combination of your logical side of your brain and the passion inside of you, as well as your muscle memory and everything that kind of supports your experience in explaining civil engineering. Like your logical progression of explaining what to do as a student and then choosing your major was very, very practical and clear. It's like, someone who didn't do it couldn't give the same answer, right? That's the whole thing. And that's what makes it good. So if you're practicing English, one tip I would say is that you're integrating new words into your speech and knowledge, but then at the same time, you are explaining things that are seemingly simple to you, but other people, they'll hear it and realize the practicality of it, hopefully, right? So good job, man.
Okay, many thanks to you.
Okay, dude, it's just an interesting opportunity, Okay, so moving forward with this particular topic here, and then I'm going to bring in Wit for a second and see what we got about engineering, which is awesome. Civil engineering, what would civil engineering be to me? I would say civil engineering is the engineering practice and field where you use multidisciplinary sources of knowledge to make the lives of citizens living in a certain area better, on at least 5 different metrics, right? So that would be like biological, their life, sewer, sanitation, that kind of thing, transportation, logistics of how they get their food and everything that they get access to that they need every day, recreation and leisure, as well as like civil areas like parks and recreation. And then the last category would be like, I guess, art and heritage, culture, right? And I would say civil engineering needs to support all of those 5 branches. Yeah, and so that's where you focus in road and railway here, right? Like you would be able to, man, have you ever seen a map of Thailand before?
Unfortunately, no.
No, okay. If you can imagine Thailand as like an upside down H, right? Upside down H, and then the H part is totally filled in, right? It's where we have no real, very modern railway that connects the bridges of Southeast Asia, right? So like Thailand borders basically every Southeast Asian country almost, okay? And there's no major rail system in between, right? So like you as a civil engineer, that would be an interesting project, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Dream big.
But for me, you know,
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
You said, but for me, you know.
for me, you know, I focus on infrastructure. You know, it is very important before anything. Infrastructure. If you have a good infrastructure, everything will be easy to do in the future. But
Like
I
a
don't know what
skeleton.
the situation in Thailand. If the infrastructure is good.
What country do you live in?
For me,
Mhm.
I live in Sudan.
Sudan. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're so right. Infrastructure is so important because it's the pieces that move everything, like a skeleton and like the circulatory system, you know, instead of a human body. Yeah, it's true. Thank you for your discussion on engineering. I appreciate it. We got a raise hand, right? Raise hand here. Let him inviting to speak. No, did he? Oh, I think he.
Oh, he's up there.
Okay, all right. Hello, Ahmed.
Hi there. Can you hear me first of all?
We can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, basically I live in the UK, so I'm just wondering, guys, has anyone ever got boundary line so far? I just want to achieve that.
Pardon? Say that again. The last part.
Yeah, I was just wondering that if anyone has got a boundary line score.
Yes, I myself have achieved a 9 overall in the Ielts, I think like about 3 times over 4 years in Korea. I also substituted as an examiner in Korea, measuring people's ability. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Are you taking the Ielts soon?
Yeah, in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, everybody, let's help Ahmed out, okay? All right, let's help Ahmed out. Let's start with, what's the target?
My target is basically 9, but the challenge here is the pronunciation. That's the most challenging thing. But with the writing essay and everything, it's very excellent. But
Wow, I don't rarely meet somebody targeting a 9. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so that's where it's a personal thing and it's work related too.
I mean, I did like 3 years ago, but I got 7.5. I keep stuck on 7.5 every time. It really upsets me. Like I don't go to the 9.
Yes, you want to get more than 7.5. Okay, all right. And over the last couple of years, how many times have you taken the test?
I've only taken twice, and it's like they know me very well. They just give me 7.5.
And that's overall. Are you averaging 7.5 in every category?
Yeah, every time that they just give me the overall. I'm just giving you the overall, all of it, 7.5.
Correct. Overall, what is your listening score usually?
My listening score was 8.5.
Okay. All right. So you're almost perfect there. You only need like 1 or 2 correct answers, and then you're good to go. Reading?
Reading is 6.5.
6.5. Okay, so you got to target that one. You got to get like about 10 more answers correct. Okay. Writing?
No, writing I got 8.5.
Oh, you're a better writer than speaker.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, that's your strength.
But the challenge is with the speaking, the pronunciation.
Right. Okay, I will give you some tips on this.
How do you overcome that? That's what I'm asking you. Like, how did you get that score to 9? Yeah. Time of challenges. Yeah.
The first thing I'll tell you is that it wasn't fair, right? The difference is that I was born in America, and English is your second language, right? So that would be the difference. So that would be one, right? The second thing is that what does it take to achieve a higher score than the 7.5 overall, with an emphasis on speaking? Okay, the first thing is that you want to get your listening and reading scores to be perfect, right? That would be your first target. It's that you are consistently getting every single question correct, right? That would be the first step. The next step after that is to get the 9 on writing. Oh my God, dude, it's really hard. The 9 on writing is basically where your 250 words on the topic is an excellent article that teaches them something, right?
I mean, that's what I do for a living, basically. I just write and I sell my.
So good. Okay, that's why you're getting the 8.5. Excellent. Okay, and then for speaking, once your reading and listening is on point, which you're already so close to, even 8 or 8.5, I think you'd be happy with, is that to get that pronunciation level on speaking requires 2 things mainly, right? It's going to be one where you find a native to read a book with you aloud, and you are regularly going through it, bit by bit, word by word, listening intently to the accent and trying to reproduce it with your mouth and your heart. Which is a conceptual connection to the knowledge and vocabulary and words, and also a technical side as well. The other one is going to be that you want to use YouTube and movies and shadowing as much as you humanly possibly can, and understand that the human voice is the most beautiful instrument in the world. And you can respect that as a writer, right? It's what you do for a living. So that's where your article, your organization, the way that you make sentences is beautiful, probably. Given the chance to visualize your sentences before you say them, and having practiced being able to really flow with those words when you speak like you write and write like you speak, you're good to go. The other tip is going to be, there is a TED Talks video by a guy named Simon Lancaster, I believe. No, it's not Simon Lancaster. It's another guy. You want to look up Speak Like a Leader.
Yeah, give me his name. Sorry.
Let me find it real fast. Speak Like a Leader. If you join the Bubble Language line group, I can send you links and books. 1 second here. Finding the video for you on my computer. Speak Like a Leader. So once upon a time, a long time ago, there were more rhetoric schools than math schools, right? In Italy, ancient Rome, ancient Greece, there was a type of school called rhetoric, right? The school of rhetoric.
Part and parcel of ordinary conversation.
Okay, you're writing down the notes here. It is Simon Lancaster. The name of the video is Speak Like a Leader, Simon Lancaster, TEDx Verona, Simon Lancaster. You got it. All right. And that's about 3.8 million views on that video, and 5 years old or so. Yes. So he outlines 6 key strategies in the ancient art of rhetoric, which is also named the art of persuasion with words, right? If you're doing any copywriting, then you can understand it even deeper, right? So there are 6 main ones. If I can remember them correctly, it would be exaggeration, metaphor. 1 in 16 words in literature is a metaphor. 3 balanced statements. 3 balanced statements. It's where you use a similar sentence structure 3 times in a row, like Coldplay, right? There's a song by Coldplay, Coldplay Fix You. The lyrics, when you try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep. It sounds nice to everybody because of the the way that it's using 3 balanced sentences. So that's 3, right? Metaphors, 3 balanced statements, and exaggeration. The other one would be rhyming, right? Which is self-explanatory. The other one is going to be the power of 3. Veni, vidi, dici. Veni, vidi, dici. No, veni, vidi, vici, which means I came, I saw, and I conquered. Right, that was said by Julius Caesar. Yeah. Let's see, what's the other one? The other one is hyperventilating, right? Hyperventilating. Okay, so if I go like this, I will immediately get all the attention of everybody in this room, right? And the reason for that is because inside of our DNA, the one thing I didn't get to discuss in our love conversation about men and women and other, is that primally we are geared to really look for that, right? When somebody is breathing hard, we're like, oh, what's happening? What's going on? Like animals out there, you know? That's when they start running away together as a herd. And so if you can mimic breathing like that in the first opening of any presentation, you will immediately get the attention of everybody within like about 50 to 100 meters. Right, so that's 5. 6, what is 6? I always forget 6. You'll have to watch the video. Right, yes. And so if you can master those 3 things, right, shadowing, reading with someone, right, and then the persuasion techniques that really do persuade people in general based on their ear and the way that it's designed, you will get that 9, or close to it, right? Close to it. I remember when I had to do it in Korea, I was playing around with different variations because I could take the test for free, because I was connected to the guy that was having me substitute as an examiner. So it's that I always tried different stuff inside of the test, and consistently when I was getting a 8.5 and above was where I was really getting quite playful and persuasive with everything I was saying in the prompts that I was answering. Does that make sense? Yeah, and it's not fair, man, right? It's so not fair, right? But like that's why if you look up on Google CEFR levels, right, you'll see the breakdown of how English is systematized. And at the C1 and C2 level, those are levels that most natives don't even achieve, right? Like you have to have education and knowledge behind what you say to be able to sound, I guess, articulate, you know? Right. Like if you hear my rant, you know, that was my speech for like a couple minutes on all of this in education, and then mixing it in with art of rhetoric. And yeah, you know, if I throw back to a previous topic, it's going to be where primally we were talking about men and women, multiple wives, and what if it would be like with people had multiple husbands, right? Could have multiple husbands. Because in Muslim culture, we learned from A is that it's still okay to have 4 wives, and it's a good reason to convert, you know, if you can support it and handle it, I suppose, right? And then it's that primally, right? What I've read primally, and people can disagree with me because this is just me with what I've read, is that women are looking for 2 types of men. One is that on a genetic level, they know that child rearing is hard and raising a kid is difficult. So one part of their psyche and DNA and primal part of their brain, the limbic system, looks for that carnal person that can support them in this, right? Which is quote unquote the nice guy, but that has many variations. The other one that they're also very attracted to is the best DNA, right? And so whenever people show shining examples of good DNA, that's what women get attracted to on a primal level, right? And then that has all these different shadings on it based on personality, background, culture, whatever, right? Yeah, for men, you know, if we're like more like animals, we want to spread our DNA as much as humanly possible or animalistically possible, right? Which it defeats the purpose of monogamy. Which many would argue that monogamy is just it's just something that was introduced by Christians, and you know, that where it was just something we're supposed to do, right? And it's all based on Adam and Eve, right? And that interpretation of that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of deep stuff. Andrea, I'm sorry. I'm going to be quiet now.
That we said, yeah.
It's okay. I wish I could help.
Okay. Yeah, like I go off on stuff that's in my brain, and then, you know, we're going into where all 4 of us here are trying to help out Ahmed in a sense, you know? Yeah. And so that's what it takes to get that native level pronunciation metric that they're looking for. Have you ever looked at the speaking criteria before?
Yeah, I mean, I've been speaking to this tutor basically, and he told me that it's even extremely hard to get that level of 9 because even the natives don't get. And basically, my answer was, but most of the natives, anyways, they're lazy. No offense, by the way.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty. Like, okay, I have the Ielts criteria in front of me right now, right? And if you just Google Ielts speaking criteria and then go to images, you'll see a table, right? And for the pronunciation category, I'll read you 6 bullet points over 2 bands, right? And this is the top band. Uses a full range of pronunciation features with precision and subtlety. sustains flexible use of features throughout, is effortless to understand. And then the next band down, right, this is band 8, uses a wide range, not full range, but wide range of pronunciation features, sustains flexible use of features with only occasional lapses, is easy to understand throughout. L1 accent has minimal effect on intelligibility, right? So the way that I read number 9 was at the band 9, and the way that I read the band 8 was at the band 8. And can you kind of hear the difference? Okay, so that's just one example, and just note that they use words like full range of pronunciation features as opposed to a wide range, right? And then for band 6, it says uses a range of pronunciation features, right? And then band 3 would be uses a limited range of pronunciation features. Yeah. And so, that's where the next step for you on speaking is going to be, how many pronunciation features do I think I know? If I had to list them right now with only my brain and no Google, what would it be, right? And then building on that.
I'm thankful. I don't want to get much of the time. Other guys also.
That's all good, dude. Yeah, no. It's okay. A person in need. Right on. You're welcome, and thank you, because it couldn't have happened without you, right? And other people, if they wanted to speak, they would raise their hand. We don't have any rules about interruptions here because sometimes I talk too much. Right? Hey, how you doing, bro? A, are you here? A? No, there's another person named A. I'm not sure. A, are you here? It's okay. Ahmed, I have a question for you. I heard in copywriting and professional writing is that people will not really read anything that's not about them, but they will read everything that's about them.
I think that's incorrect.
That's incorrect. Okay, all right. I'm curious, why?
We'll say that. Let me for example. For instance, most of the time when I write something and I finish off and I try to upload on the web, most people, they don't read those articles.
Mm-hmm.
They like to read. How do I explain this where my problem is,
That's why practice is good, dude, right? And that's why we're practicing right now.
I can write something, I can literally like 4 3 pages.
Yeah. But then if you have to come up with it in the moment.
That's the difficult part.
Yeah. Some practical tips, right? Practical tips are gonna be 3 seconds. Take 3 seconds. One thing I like to tell my students is that there is nothing in the goddamn social contract that requires you to answer immediately after somebody asks you a question. Right, so take those 3 seconds to imagine what your response looks like. For me, like I try to look at everything. I try to look at everything in those few seconds, right? And I try to calm and think about what I'm going to say and look back at my life and my knowledge. Yeah, and I play around with sentence structures. I think of, I have quotes in my head. I'm not thinking about what I can't do. I'm thinking about what are they asking me. I'm trying to find something to read you real fast on this point. Just give me a moment. But yeah, if you, I don't know, you disagree. I will repeat it again, right? I'll repeat it again. People, this is the statement to disagree with. People don't usually read about other stuff. People will read almost everything about if it's about them.
Yes, the main reason that I would say that in this case, out there, it's like more interesting to them, like they want to read more about them,
Okay, all right, that was better. All right, yeah, dude, you went for it. Okay, good, good. That's the like you just compare, huh? No, you did try both times actually, right? That's the like by definition you tried both times. And then we have A B, which is B was better than A, and then next time you're just shooting for C to be better than B, right? And that's a really practical way to look at it. I'm hoping A, the civil engineer, is listening to this stuff and he likes it. But okay, here we go. In closing for today. I will also agree to disagree with you, right? I'll agree to disagree with you because I did make a post. It's about 140 words or so, right? And it was a job post on Facebook, and I only posted it in two places, on our Facebook channel and in like a teachers in Thailand group, right? Two places. Over the course of 30 days, there were over 230 applicants. Right. And like most of them came within like the first week, which was really weird. Right. And I traditionally, I've always written job posts in a very academic way, right, where the requirements and everything I'm looking for are clear and identified, contract agreements and points, etc. Right. And it's like always been a trickle of applicants, you know. So I said this time I'm going to try a different one because I learned in copywriting, you're going to always try to want to write it where it's about them, right? And you know, the thing is, in your training, you've probably understood that you're trying to write to one person, right? And that's generally better writing, right? So here we go, right? Okay. Looking for Mary Poppins, English experts, writers, content developers, cinematographers, editors, advanced Q&A specialists, and talented tutors, teachers, guides, coaches, mentors. If you're sweet and kind and can tell yourself, my job is now to teach, to open doors for those daring to cross this threshold. You're tidy, clean, an arranger and an organizer. You have a big heart, but have your personal tendencies as well. You're a little crazy sometimes, but you have learned with time, experience, and care to breathe in and out and maintain composure. You like to sing tunes and have a smorgasbord of rhymes stored in your head that come about suddenly from time to time and are filled with effectable ethics, morals, and tidbits of knowledge. Teaching basic arithmetic, scientific concepts, and sustainability are as natural to you as teaching a child to recognize shapes in animals. You're savvy with online educational platforms and have experience adapting content relatively fluidly and with sometimes personal style. You also like to tinker around with furniture and interesting adaptations of resourcefulness to create better surroundings. You're human and seeking an environment of growth, acceptance, and kindness, willing to focus on strengths to bring about positive outcomes. We're flexible and adaptive and reasonable. Insurance included plus options, visa, and then some other random details. Right. So I don't know. What do you think, Ed? What do you think? You're a writer.
Well, I mean, like that's really great. Did you write that by yourself?
Yeah, I wrote that.
Wow, it's really incredible. I was enjoying it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, thank you for your feedback, man. Right. I always have to be humble, you know.
I wish that Clubhouse has the button where you can press the heart.
As the like function. Yeah, there's a way to bring back some of the recording, but the reason that I put so much energy into reading it was that's what you want to do for your goal, bro. You know? Yeah. Like and you have your passion that comes out when you write. And then you're trying to translate that into your voice and just practice that, you know? I know it feels weird and awkward and like, it's hard to practice if you can't really do it naturally in the moment of free passion, being wild and free. But for me personally, I would say that I like living life in this way, right? And so that's why I like speaking like that, I suppose, and don't feel too awkward. But I'm okay when somebody calls me a dork.
Sorry, what is the dork, by the way?
Dork, D-O-R-K, dork, nerd, geek. Yeah. You know, in Thailand we say grian, which is basically jackass, right? Yeah.
It's a whole different level.
I know, right? Yeah. But it's okay. It's okay. It's where the human voice is the most beautiful instrument in the world, right? And then you have the human brain, right, where there are more connections inside of one human brain between all the synaptical connections than there are molecules inside of the entire universe in one brain, right? So that makes it the most complex thing in the universe. right? And so you got those two things there going for you, right? And there's no time, right? There's no time for other stuff. This is one thing. I got 1 more minute left, so I'm gonna monologue it out, right? It's that in this world, there is such a goddamn problem with limitations in the way that people think. The first go-to thought after they consider an idea is really annoying statistically. And for this, I'll give you a parable, right? And the parable is, if I tell you that I'm thinking about a fruit and I tell you that it's not an apple, do you have any fucking way to guess what it is? No, right? And on the other hand, if I say, I am thinking of a fruit, it is round, orange, and bumpy, right? What's the fruit? Okay, you got it. And then the third iteration of this is that what if I said it's not round, it's not orange, and it's not bumpy? Would you have any clue on what the answer is? Exactly, right? And so that same logic transfers to everything that people think about dreaming in their lives. And then one person in the organization is always looking at everything that can go wrong. And then that dude or lady hopefully protects you, right? And that's generally the way to succeed, I think, right? For the test, for lots of things. Yeah, cool. All right, that was a good closing note. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Bo. Appreciate that.
No worries, man. Andrea, you're getting better at this closeout.
I think so. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. And just to remind everyone that we are going to be here in Clubhouse on every Sunday. But next week, we are going to be here a little bit early. It's going to be around 3 p.m. at Thai time. So if you don't want to miss it out, you can follow us on Instagram as Bubble Language School. And then we are going to post the Lines Open Chat QR code, which you can scan it up and join us into a Clubhouse open chat room. We are going to be posting like announcements and also the free books that Paul mentioned. So feel free to just follow, and maybe don't forget to follow us on this Clubhouse applications. And yeah, we'll see you again next time.
All right, thank you guys. I really appreciate that you've been here, and I'm looking forward to the next session as well.
Yeah, man. If it's like this, we'll practice more because it's then it'll be 1 week to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
All right. Later. Take care.